Cruz got elected, that he could be the Antichrist. I heard him say one thing. Well, first of all, what he's doing, stealing these delegates. It's legal. What he's doing is legal, but it's very immoral and unethical, in my opinion. But he's a terrible liar. I know that. I've heard it with my own ears. But I heard him interviewed by Hannity the other night, and that interview just finished me. First of all, he was vicious, absolutely vicious, in his lying attack upon Trump. And it came out with such spiritual power that Trump doesn't know what he's doing, that Cruz is winning these voterless elections. There have been at least 2, Wyoming and Colorado, that I know of, that he got all of the delegates without a vote. The people didn't vote. You know, they just voted for the delegates. And that he claims that Trump doesn't know what he's doing. Okay? I heard Trump interviewed, and Trump said that he knew, of course he knew what he was doing, but he made a strategic decision. Because everything, he's funding his own campaign, you know, to not go in and fight on, it's very expensive to fight on that level, and I've heard that in a couple of places. To fight on the level that Cruz is fighting, it costs a lot of money. You need operatives in the field, you need to go into each district of the state where they're electing their delegates. Instead of a statewide primary, where Donald Trump goes out and speaks to the people and gets the people to vote for him, you have to go into each district. There will be 20, 30 districts in a state where the people are voting for the delegates. And he made a decision. He thought that he could win without doing that. And that was his strategic decision. It's not that he doesn't know what he's doing. See? And of course, the Republicans that changed the rule that made it that way were all Cruz delegates that were trying to hurt Trump. Cruz, I'm finished with him, okay, as of that interview with Hannity. The one thing this is what killed me, but this is what finished me with Cruz. Hannity was trying to get Cruz to explain to the people what's going on, because, and this is what Hannity said, look, as far as the people know, yeah, we were talking about Cruz. So Hannity was saying to him, look, the people don't understand what's going on, you know. And I thank God for Hannity and for all of the resources that I had that explained this to me, because when I hear one side saying one thing, saying, well, the election is rigged, and then Cruz is saying everybody voted. Well, where does that leave the voter? In total confusion. Trump says the election was rigged and that there were no votes, and then Cruz is saying the people voted, but there was no vote. So Hannity was saying, and that's just me as an average person saying that, what kind of confusion is this? So Hannity stepped in, which is really the role of the press, okay, and said to, and I thank God, I was never a big fan of Hannity, but with what's going on today, I really thank God for Hannity. And he said, would you please explain to the people what's going on? Because they're hearing that there was no primary, there was no vote, and that you're saying that, and that you're going into the states where, well, this is what he was saying, you're going into the states where Trump won and stealing his delegates. The people think, well, there was an election, how could you steal his delegates? They don't understand what's going on. See? Excuse me. And Cruz refused to answer the question. Hannity answered him 3 times. He refused to answer the question, and what he said, and this is what's finished him, the people do not need to understand that.
Oh my God.
That's what he said. And that, this proves that this man is 100% establishment, because that's what the establishment is saying. I remember hearing a debate between some gentleman from the government who took that position, and he was debating the dean of Hillsdale, thank you. So it was the dean, I believe it was the dean, I might have the wrong office, of Hillsdale College, having a very friendly, a very civil debate with this, whoever this representative was of the government, and the man was really right out in the open saying that people are just not qualified to be involved in the issues of state today. They're just too complicated for the average person, and we should be taking care of it. You know, and that is the whole mentality in Washington, and not only in Washington, but in all the state governments. That's the mentality today. The people are children, okay, and that we should have all power to run the country, and that makes the people, and if you keep moving in that momentum, the people will be serfs again. Why? Because human nature always abuses power. So you take that kind of power over the people, and it's just a matter of time until the people are slaves again. And the way it used to be, you know, before Christ, was that you couldn't even own a piece of property. You know, you were and not only that, but you had to farm the land of the very rich people that owned all the property, and that you belonged to them. Do you know that the serfs on the manor actually were the property of the landowners in those days? Depending on the country, it was better or worse. You know? And so that's where we're headed with that kind of mentality. See. And it's a complete denial, in my opinion, a complete denial of this understanding, and I mentioned it recently, I believe Thursday maybe, that first of all, people are capable of understanding complicated issues if it's explained to them properly. And that's the responsibility of their representatives and of the press, to explain things to them properly. People are capable of understanding it. But even more than that, people are capable of recognizing righteousness and unrighteousness when they have a relationship with Jesus Christ. And that's what's completely denied. So that was what he said. He refused to answer Hannity's question. He refused to explain it. He just insisted that the people don't need to know that. All that the people need to know is that he's going to return, he's going to bring back jobs. And his policy is he's pretty much saying everything that Trump is saying. He's going to bring back jobs, he's going to deal with immigration, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. But I want to tell you that I don't believe him. Because he has proved himself to be a member of the establishment. First of all, he worked on the Bush team, okay? He's been a progressive. All of a sudden, he's this big conservative. He's been a progressive. His wife is on the Council of Foreign Relations. Of course, she's not running, but you figure they're one mind and one accord. And she worked on the North American Alliance, in other words, what they want to do. And Bush actually signed something, I don't know whether it was a treaty or not, when he was in office, to get rid of the American national borders and make North America, Canada, and North America one region, to get rid of the sovereignty of the United States. That's what he's been involved in all along. So all of a sudden he's this big, plus he wasn't a Canadian citizen until a few months ago, or a year ago. So I don't believe anything that he's saying that he's going to do if he gets elected. And I don't. But I really thought the thought occurred to me for the first time that he has the potential to be the Antichrist. You see, I could be wrong. Of course, I could be wrong, but I do not see Trump as the Antichrist. I see too much kindness in the man, and I'm sorry, but I see a lot of love in this man. You know, and as I told you on Thursday, I don't think that the Antichrist is about to grab someone that's loving. He's going to take someone who's tending in the other direction and then make him worse, okay? And that is Cruz, you know. And he's a religious fanatic. His father is a religious fanatic in believing in dominionism, which is that the United States should rule the world. And lovingly, you know, but they should rule the world.
Rita wrote something.
Oh yeah, what did she say?
I agree. I see love in Trump too, and it makes sense that the enemy would pick someone tending towards hate, and the other side makes that person worse.
Yes, okay.
Can I say something?
Yes, Jim.
I think that they're being judged, the whole Republican Party being judged, you know,
The
for
Republican Party, yes.
yeah, being judged, and I
Yeah.
think that's what God's honing into, you know.
Yeah, but everybody's under judgment, Jim.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole country's
But I
under
mean,
judgment.
this
Yes.
is seen,
This
you know,
is
this is
visible.
seen.
Yes,
So
they're being fully exposed, but are they? I don't know that they're going to repent. They're evil people. The whole power structure in Washington
yeah.
is being judged and exposed. Hillary's being exposed too, well, the Democrat. The whole thing needs to come down, so I don't know how God's going to do it. I don't know, you know. I know, this is the only thing I know, that it was a slow process that changed the Democratic Party. Kennedy's Democratic Party doesn't exist anymore. They're all communists, socialists and communists. There is no more Democratic Party. And they're all progressives in the Republican and the Democratic Party. As I told you on Thursday, and I never heard anybody say this on the news or anywhere, this is what and I believe it's true. The issues are nationalism against globalism. Now I remember going back years ago when it was Glenn Beck who taught me that you no longer vote for Democrats or Republicans. You have to find out who the progressives are because there are progressives on both sides. I learned that from Glenn Beck. So Democratic, Republican is no longer the issue. It's whether or not you're a progressive or a conservative. Well, even that has changed, brethren, okay? Either you are a globalist or a nationalist. That's how I see it now, you know. And I would vote for someone who was a nationalist that was less competent than a globalist that was running, because I don't care how competent you are, your decisions are not going to be for the benefit of this country. And it's not just this country. When America takes the victory and elects a nationalist and starts kicking the globalists in the pants, and I believe that when Trump wins, he's not only going to, he's going to disannul every executive order that Obama ever made. They're just going to be canceled, okay? With one stroke of the pen, that's going to happen.